last flattened vast forest area. The year is 1908. Russia, a slumbering giant on the cusp of revolution, is a land of stark contrasts. Opulent palaces glitter in St. Petersburg while, hundreds of miles east, life grinds on in isolated Siberian villages, untouched by the Tsar's grandeur. Here, existence is a battle against the unforgiving elements. The Evenki people, nomadic reindeer herders, follow ancient routes across a landscape of taiga and tundra. They are deeply connected to the spirit world, their lives governed by omens and the whispers of the wind. On the morning of June 30th, this world was irrevocably shattered. A blinding light seared the sky, followed by a deafening explosion that shook the earth. The blast, centered near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River, leveled trees for miles. A scar upon the face of Siberia that remains visible even today. The initial reports were vague, filtered through the vastness of Siberia. Seismographs around the world registered the disturbance, initially mistaking it for an earthquake. Days turned into weeks before news trickled out of the remote region, carried by terrified villagers who spoke of fire from the sky, of trees ripped from the ground, and of reindeer vaporized in an instant. The scale of the devastation was difficult to comprehend. Imagine a force so immense it could flatten an entire forest, scorching the earth and leaving behind a wasteland where once there was thriving life. Yet in a land accustomed to hardship and vastness, the Tunguska event, as it came to be known, remained a distant echo, a terrifying story whispered around crackling fires. But something else lingered in the tailies, a sense of unease, a feeling that this was more than just a natural disaster. The first scientific expedition to the site, led by Leonid Kulik in 1927, faced immense challenges. The journey itself was an ordeal, traversing treacherous terrain and navigating the skepticism of locals wary of outsiders. What Kulik found was both baffling and awe-inspiring. A vast area of scorched and fallen trees, all radiating outwards from a central point. Yet, there was no impact crater, no evidence of a meteorite. This absence of physical evidence fueled speculation. Was it a comet that disintegrated in the atmosphere? An asteroid that exploded before hitting the ground? Or something far more mysterious? Kulik meticulously documented the devastation, collecting samples and mapping the affected area. He was convinced that the mystery of Tunguska held a key to understanding the universe. Rumors began to circulate among the villagers, whispers of a vengeful god punishing them for their sins, tales of a portal opening to another dimension, and even stories of a visit from beings beyond the stars. These stories, dismissed by scientists, spoke of strange lights in the sky in the days leading up to the event, of metal fragments scattered across the landscape, and of animals behaving erratically. One particular tale, repeated in hushed tones, involved a local shaman who had prophesied a great calamity, a warning ignored by his people. Could these stories hold a grain of truth, obscured by fear and superstition, or were they simply the product of traumatized minds struggling to make sense of the unimaginable? The investigation stalled. The Soviet Union, preoccupied with internal strife and the rise of Stalin, had little interest in dedicating resources to a remote Siberian mystery. Kulik continued his research, but his efforts were hampered by lack of funding and the ever-present political pressures. He became increasingly obsessed with finding the elusive meteorite, convinced that it held the answer to the Tunguska enigma. His obsession bordered on fanaticism, alienating colleagues and fueling further skepticism about his findings. The mystery deepened as years passed, the initial shock fading into a frustrating lack of progress. The Tunguska event became a scientific curiosity, a puzzle that defied easy answers. Then came the twist. Years later, declassified Soviet documents hinted at a different narrative. The area around Tunguska was known for its deposits of strategic minerals, but the explosion had been a secret military experiment gone horribly wrong. The timing coincided with the beginning of Russia's push to modernize its military. The secrecy surrounding the area after the event, the suppression of certain eyewitness accounts, and the lack of transparency in the official investigation fueled this suspicion. The thought of a botched weapons test was chilling, a stark reminder of the human capacity for destruction. Furthermore, a strange anomaly was detected in ice cores taken from the region. These cores showed a sudden and significant increase in certain radioactive isotopes dating back to 1908. This discovery added fuel to the theory of a failed nuclear experiment, a terrifying possibility that the Tunguska event wasn't a cosmic event at all, but something far more sinister and man-made. The truth behind the ice core findings was impossible to ignore and created a divide amongst experts. Was this simply the result of natural radiation, or was it a signal from an unknown device? Stakes rose dramatically with the emergence of a new suspect, Nikola Tesla. The eccentric genius, known for his groundbreaking work in electricity and his obsession with wireless power transmission, had been conducting experiments in long-range energy transfer around the same time as the Tunguska event. Conspiracy theories began to swirl, suggesting that Tesla, in his quest to provide free energy to the world, had inadvertently unleashed a destructive force. Some even claimed that he was deliberately targeting the Russian landscape, seeking to demonstrate the power of his technology to potential investors. However, there was no solid evidence linking Tesla to the Tunguska event, no documented proof that he had the capability or the intention to cause such an explosion. This theory, although captivating, remained firmly in the realm of speculation. Yet, the aura of mystery surrounding Tesla, his flamboyant personality, and his penchant for secrecy made him an irresistible figure in the Tunguska narrative. The lack of definitive answers surrounding the event allowed these narratives to flourish. The years turned into decades, the Tunguska event becoming a legend, a campfire story passed down through generations. New expeditions were launched, armed with increasingly sophisticated technology, but none were able to provide a definitive explanation. The impact zone remained a silent testament to the power of the unknown, a place where the laws of physics seemed to bend and break. The mystery continued to haunt scientists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. In the wake of the event, the Evenki people were forced to adapt to a drastically altered landscape. Their traditional hunting grounds were destroyed, their way of life disrupted. The explosion, which they initially interpreted as a sign of divine wrath, became a symbol of the unpredictable and often destructive forces of nature. They learned to coexist with the scar on the land, incorporating it into their mythology and adapting their traditions to the new reality. The Tunguska event served as a constant reminder of their vulnerability in the face of overwhelming power. But then came another betrayal. Further investigation into the archives revealed that the initial scientific reports were deliberately altered, downplaying the extent of the devastation and omitting key details. The Soviet government, eager to control the narrative, sought to minimize the potential embarrassment of a failed military experiment or the implications of a catastrophic natural event. The manipulation of data further muddied the waters, making it even more difficult to reconstruct the events of that fateful day. The search for truth was hampered by layers of deceit and political maneuvering. Ultimately, the Tunguska event remains an enigma, a puzzle with missing pieces. Was it a cosmic collision, a technological mishap, or something else entirely? The answer, like the vast Siberian wilderness, is shrouded in mystery, obscured by layers of speculation and conjecture. The explosion stands as a reminder of the limitations of human knowledge, of the vastness of the universe, and of the potential for both wonder and terror that lies within the unknown. The truth may never be fully uncovered. The chilling irony is this: the Tunguska event, initially perceived as a catastrophic event, isolated to a remote corner of Siberia, has become a symbol of humanity's precarious place in the universe. It serves as a reminder that even the most advanced civilizations are vulnerable to forces beyond their control, whether they originate from the depths of space or from the darkest corners of the human mind. The flattened forest remains a stark visual representation of our own potential for self-destruction, both accidental and intentional. And so, the Tunguska mystery persists, a silent echo across the decades. The trees have grown back, slowly reclaiming the scorched earth, but the questions remain. The silence of the taiga holds the secret, whispering on the wind, a chilling reminder of a day when the sky roared and the earth trembled, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions. We are left to ponder the possibilities, the potential dangers, and the chilling reminder that some mysteries may never be solved.